What's up, you guys? It's Jason with RPM, and today we're going over the H2 stuff. This is going to be the holy grail of H2 stuff as far as pre-production goes, I guess is what we'll say. So this is everything we've been working on. We're going to talk about the exhaust and intakes, intercoolers, carbon fiber intakes, fuel tanks, we're going to talk about it all. So this is going to be a long video. Hopefully it's educational, and you guys can get caught up to date on what we've been working with and what's coming and when. So first thing first, I think we'll talk about exhaust. So this is our Q series muffler. This is the full exhaust. It's paired to an E valve right now. You'd be able to get this exhaust with or without an E valve, and it goes with this chambered muffler, which is our quieter one, our Q series, and we have the ability to run this header against our dual sport muffler as well, which is a completely different design, and it will be offered with an E valve or no E valve as well. So we haven't just been working on one exhaust. We're gonna have, like, I don't even know how many variations of exhaust we'll have, but you've got your stock mid pipe, like your stock cat delete. You've got two options there. Then you've got the 3/4 exhaust, which is stock header, using the chambered muffler and a mid pipe. A couple of mid pipe variations there. And you've got the full exhaust using the Q series with different mid pipes, or the sport muffler with different mid pipes. So we're not just going to have a exhaust for the H2. We will have a ton of options, just like we have with a ton of other cars in the past. We'll have a lot of options for whatever you want to do. If you're just looking for the slip-on stuff or just a mid pipe delete, we got you covered on kind of every level there. So the header, this whole setup, I think, is probably going to be my favorite. It's a little bit quieter and rowdy when you want it, and it's a work of art. So diving into the exhaust, we always got the question of when's it going to be done? What's taking so long? I would rather be the last one to the market than just be the first to the market with a shitty product. So that's why the exhaust, H2 exhaust graveyard looks something like this. So, we just have a bunch of exhaust cut up, every little piece. Why it takes so long is you can kind of see, like, how long it would take to build each one of these in a jig, fit it to the car, change it, go rechange the jig, come back, get back on the dyno, figure out what's working, what's not working, what we need to change, why we need to change it, how that change is going to affect other modifications like supercharger gears when we start to turn up the boost. So then we gotta go back, change supercharger gears between stock and higher boost. Then we have our intakes that we're working on. How did that exhaust change affect the intake? Let's go back to it. How did that exhaust and intake affect boost changes? So it's really easy to build an exhaust. It's really hard to build the perfect exhaust, and we wanted to build the perfect exhaust, so that's what we've been working on. There's so many small changes. For example, like, this is probably my favorite one. Like, there is a horsepower difference between these two. Between going from a 1.5D bend to a 2D bend on just the mid pipe makes a power change. And I think testing and trying all these different variations is super important to us. So yeah, not everyone's tooled up for 2D bending. We found out real quick that it was something that we wanted to do. And in the past, I'm always like, we should get 2D mandrel, bends or dies for our machines so we can make those long, gradual sweeps. We finally did it, and we needed to do it for the H2 stuff. So that's just kind of one example of, like, the small things that go a long ways when you're designing exhaust. So that's the exhaust. I think that kind of breaks it down. I guess over here, these are two different chambered mufflers. These were designed internally different. The exterior is very similar to what we use now, but this is a completely new muffler. So the tooling to bend this body up and then do all the internal welding and all the cutting and bending and the tool dies and stamping dies and all that stuff is different in each of these, and we have to test them and test them and test them. It's just, like, so time consuming. Then you move over to stuff like the dual sport muffler, getting something like this crazy to fit and changing it. You think you got it dialed in, you go and find out that, maybe it didn't fit perfect. Let's change the tooling up a little bit or change the jig up a little bit to make it fit. When you're doing these exhausts, you got to always keep in mind it takes us 2 cars to make everything fit perfect, because not every car is exactly the same. When we're looking for millimeters and changes, and it's like, well, this car is 2 millimeters off compared to this car, we have to kind of build the exhaust to be able to take those changes. So that's why we like to use ball end gaskets, so we can every car is going to fit a little bit different. Our mounting points that are adjustable. I know the factory H2 stuff, it wasn't. We have a completely separate mount for like our chambered muffler, and it's adjustable so we can pitch those tips out perfectly. Speaking of tips, we're gonna be running something like this. It'll be brushed, and we'll have them blued or just standard stainless tips on the end of all of our mufflers. It will look something like this when installed, just a clean finish for them. So that's what we're working on there. I want to work on something similar to that for the stock muffler, since there will be options for exhaust on the stock rear muffler for like the guys running just mid-pipe deletes or mid-pipe delete with an E-valve. So yeah, we're not just working on one exhaust here. We've tried a lot of everything. So different headers and how those affect horsepower, torque, and how we can kind of shift those numbers around to benefit guys the most. We wanted something that fits in a little bit of everybody, so we didn't want to just go in with an exhaust design that only had huge low end gains, but really didn't have huge top end gains. And then there's a lot that goes into it. It wasn't just building an exhaust, you guys. It's got to take into consideration all the guys who are doing 500,000 RPM bumps in their tunes. These are gear-driven superchargers, so that's going to affect the amount of boost. And then how does the exhaust? Oh, geez, back and forth all day, and trying to build something that's good for everybody. It's an animal. So that's why it's been taking so long. You can kind of see we've been more than hard at work, and there's definitely more than 2 exhausts sitting here. So it kind of goes to show we've been doing a lot of testing and trial and error there. Moving on, let's see what's next. Intercoolers. So this is your factory intercooler. Let's just take a peek at that real quick. So this is your factory intercooler, tube and fin style. It's a great intercooler. The plastic plastic end tanks, not a huge fan of them. And then next to it will be our stage 2 intercooler. Stage 1 will be a brushless fan, the 10-inch brushless fan, which is larger than factory. Obviously drastically more CFM, and get those intake air temps down. That is kind of what a stage 1 intercooler from RPM will look like. It'll be your factory intercooler with an upgraded brushless fan and shroud. It's all completely rubber sealed, something similar to this. Stage 2 will be our big core intercooler. This is a drop-in intercooler. Goes right into the factory spot. It's obviously drastically larger. I should know the square, I think what the exact volume difference is between these two, but it's a lot. But that's what a stage 2 will look like. It will come standard with a brushless 10-inch fan, larger intercooler obviously. It drops into the factory location, plugs into the factory wiring, and it's that easy. So there's also a stage 3. So what we have done is we've got a stage 3 intercooler. Actually, if you kind of pan around and we look down on the top over here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. This intercooler requires a little bit of plastic trimming. We take the intercooler and we cut the plastic back. It's super clean when it's done, as you can see. And we put a drastically larger intercooler in here. Other than trimming this plastic piece, which can be done in the car once this cover's off, this cover goes right back on the factory deal. It looks like it's factory fit. The stage 3 intercooler, I think we'll probably end up calling it stage 3 intercooler, is about 2.5 times the volume of the factory intercooler. So with that being said, back here, behind this beautiful carbon venting fascia that we are going to offer as well, this can be used on any car, stock, wherever you want. The reason we have this is that we found out there's a lot of bed and below the bed heat, and when the fan's running, we allow for some of that hot air to expel out of this louvered cover. This is carbon fiber, super dope. We've been getting into the carbon fiber stuff a lot lately, and you're gonna see a ton of it on the H2, and we're gonna cover that in the video here shortly. So putting this down, you can see just how large our stage 3 intercooler will be for the H2 guys. It's so large that it actually requires the replacement of this charge tube, and we've said it before, we'll say it again, our charge tubes are not OEM replicated. So that was the one thing we wanted to make sure we did with our charge tubes is we didn't want to just copy the factory stuff. So we redesigned the silicone tubes, and you can see this on our website. They're available on there. The images are on there. But if you look at the harsh 90s and 60 bends on the factory tubes, we went in and we smoothed all of that out, directionally port matched them, and did all of our wizardry on the silicone that we always do. You're gonna get the heavy duty T-bolt clamps. When you buy this intercooler, it'll come with 2 8-inch brushless fans. So not only did you increase the air volume in your intercooler by 2.5, now you've got like 3 or 4 times the amount of air being drawn through it. Using the factory wiring still, you'll get a new charge tube. You'll be able to pick the color. So if you already had green charge tubes or black, we're gonna offer white soon. You'll get a new tube that goes from the intercooler to the plenum, because this, when we moved it, we kind of had to like stretch that tube out a little bit. So you'll get a replacement one with this. It's included with the kit. Again, it's still a drop-in. Other than cutting this plastic piece, is trimming it a little bit wider, which is super easy to do. It'll drop right in the factory location. It clears all the bracketry in there, and it's pretty slick setup that we have going on there. So we've got our inline clutch fans in here, really good for the rock crawling guys. Any guys who are having belt temp issues, those are there. We got a whole other video on that, what they're for and who they're best for. Our billet blow-off valves on it. We got all the silicone intake tubes on this car. So I think this section is about the intercoolers is kind of a wrap. I think we covered everything we can cover there. There'll be way more details on the website once we start releasing that stuff as well. Geez, what else do we have going on? We talked about silicone. We got our intercoolers. We've got silicone intake tubes coming that go from the supercharger to the airbox. They'll be available very soon. That's these ones. So kind of the same thing. We wanted to go in and take out some of the harsh radiuses and bends. You kind of see what we do. So this is what the factory tube does. This is just a silicone tube that's a direct replacement of the factory one. And that's the easy way to do it. But you can see right here how our final design was smooth radiuses. Everything was smooth. It bends smooth down here. So we take out all these sharp, hard, and harsh bends, and we smooth them out. And that's what we do for the stock intake. So moving on to intakes, I think that's what this lovely cart is. It's a little bit of everything. We got a lot of carbon fiber accessories, and we'll go over that. But you know, these are there's probably 6 or 7 different intake designs down here. These are all 3D printed ones. We had a carbon fiber one up here that was, you know, pretty well a solid one that we were testing. It will look something like this when it's all said and done. It will go up on the passenger side wheel well. We've got a filter guard. It'll be carbon fiber. It'll protect this S&B filter. Just like all of our other intakes, we're huge on partnering with S&B. They probably have the best dry extendable air filters on the market. So they got a good name in the air filter industry, and we got a good name in the air intake industry. So partnered up with them. Got some high quality air filters that come with a pre-filter from RPM on it. And yeah, it'll look something similar to this, or very close to this when it's all said and done. Intakes have huge gains on these cars. Guys who are complaining about the supercharger chirp, this one won't be for you because it's going to be a lot more evident. When you bolt something like this on, you can hear all of the cool noises will be happening back there. Some guys, that's not their thing. The guys who are kind of gearheads, this one will be, that one will be for you. Kind of double-edged sword. It's going to make all the noises, and it's going to have a huge gain. So got to decide what you're up against there. I know that's not for everybody, you know, and for the guys who like that, we're going to have something for you. So carbon fiber accessories. So we've been getting huge into the carbon fiber market. It started with carbon fiber intakes, and we had an engineer who had a huge background in carbon fiber development and body panel development too from the auto industry. And we're like, dude, he's a wizard. Let's dive into this. So we got someone who knows everything we need to know. And that's when we started designing carbon fiber parts like such. So your factory H2 one is just a smooth panel across the back. So we go in and we're dropping in louvers, our logo. Fits like OEM, it's super light. But most importantly, it's directing hot air out of the back of the cab. So this stuff is the cool stuff. The carbon intakes are the cool stuff. We do have some OEM replacement parts. Something like this is kind of hop up here on this car real quick. So some of the OEM replicated parts are that. They're a direct replacement or near direct replacement carbon fiber part. They're more for the guys who want that clean carbon fiber look. Can't blame you, man, because like stuff like this looks so much better than just regular plastic. And I know it's not for everyone, and it's not cheap to have carbon fiber accessories, but you know, we try to build something for everyone. And that's why we offer so many different exhausts and different pieces and parts. And you know, carbon fiber is another one of those things. And this is it right there. So this piece is this air intake cover. Specifically, this one's not a direct OEM replicated one, but it may as well be close enough. Our intake tube is a little bit larger than the factory one, this intake tube. So we've clearanced our carbon fiber cover where it can work with the factory one, but it will also work with the RPM intake. And the factory cover will work with the RPM intake cover also, but we were, you know, double-edged sword there. You want some carbon fiber, but you want to show off your intake tube. So we kind of blended that in and did what we wanted to do. You get your carbon fiber supercharger cover, carbon fiber lower airbox cover. Yeah, we had to walk around this car. We have a ton of carbon fiber accessories coming for the entire interior of the car. So on this side, we've got the carbon fiber reservoir cover right there. And we've got a ton of other carbon fiber accessories coming really throughout the car. I mean, there's a lot of accessories, some panel covers that will kind of want to upgrade to carbon fiber, and there's some more that will, you know, need more of performance benefit, more of a function over form type carbon fiber accessories. So some of these are just, like I said, direct replacement. Like something like this, we could build out of carbon fiber. Is there a huge performance gain? No. Does it look sick? Yeah. And so we'll kind of have a little bit of everything. And we're not going to just do that with the H2. You're going to see a lot of carbon fiber accessories coming for the Pro Rs, turbo platform, and then the X3, and of course the Maverick R platform. We're going to have a lot of carbon fiber accessories coming for those cars as well. I think that kind of wraps up what we've been doing with the H2. One other thing is the catch cans. I know a lot of guys have been asking about catch cans for the H2. The reason we've kind of been dragging our feet on the catch cans for the H2 is we have a very specific catch can that we're developing. It's a complete makeover. It's a catch can designed for UTVs by UTV enthusiasts. It will be the best catch can in the market. I can promise you that. It's a completely billet aluminum catch can. The interior design and how it vents and the option to recirculate is like all top-notch stuff. So we'll have a whole separate video here to come in the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks from now, maybe a couple weeks after Christmas, or a couple weeks after the new year. We'll be dropping some information on our new catch can. Guys who were at the Sand Show for 2025, they got to see it. We had nothing but great feedback from guys all the way from trail riding, dune riding, to the top performance guys. We showed them what we kind of had designed, and we're like, what do you think of this? And they know that it's coming. A lot of those guys are very excited to get a catch can that's very specifically built for the UTV industry. So this is a forced induction vehicle, and just like the Maverick R, and I mean it's a forced induction, guys. I think RPM is. I'm not saying that we're the first ones to do auxiliary fuel tanks, but we have, without a doubt, paved the way for auxiliary fuel tanks and OEM replacement fuel tanks, and we are definitely setting the industry standard in that market. I can say that with 100% certainty. We started with aluminum tanks for like the Pro R stuff. Now they're rotomolded, and we're back redesigning stuff, taking the knowledge that we've gained and going back and increasing capacity and how we do that. And this one was no different. So I'm not even going to talk about the capacity, but this is a design of a fuel tank. This is 3D printed, so don't, careful on the hate comments. But this will be surprising amount of fuel in this location. Just like all of our fuel tanks, we don't like to do any invasive designing. Like, sure, yeah, you can go in there and start cutting tubes out of your chassis and making things fit, and moving batteries to the roof of the fucking UTV to make a gas tank. Not any of us. We develop and design drop-in fuel tanks for auxiliary fuel tanks, and we have OEM drop-in tanks as well. And what we try to do is we don't want you to have to modify and cut and bend. We don't want to get like too intrusive with the installation. Something a guy who's more of like a beginner can do in his garage, on the weekend, in a day, super easy, clean installations, and that's what we did here. So this is a heck of a design, and I'm 6'2", I wear a size 11.5, 12. The fuel tank clears. That was something we wanted to be sure of. So you can get a full-grown adult. This seat's all the way back still. You can get a full-grown adult back here with the fuel tank. This, of course, will be a roto-molded design. We'll be using OEM or like... we call them like OEM style Kelch clicking gas caps. Again, all of our fittings are all proprietary. We catch the hate from both directions. We get guys who are like, that's super cheap. This will run in line with like how much our other auxiliary fuel tanks cost in the market. They all kind of just barely fluctuate. This will be right in line with the rest of them. we have all proprietary, we have a lot of proprietary fittings. All of our fuel fittings going in our gas tanks, coming out of the gas tanks. Stuff like this stainless steel 4AN line has a very specific thread and it accepts a very specific washer on one end. This stuff is, it's simply put, it's high-end shit. You're not just going to AutoZone and buying 4AN fuel fittings and dropping them in our gas tank. Most all of our stuff is proprietary. It's built for our fuel tanks, designed by our engineers to work properly with your car. So the H2 fuel tank is coming. This is a 5-seater. It clears in the 4-seaters as well. And that's something else we're working on. I think we're probably a little ways out on that. Those are very involved pieces to completely engineer and then to make fit in the car. And there's a lot of other, the gas tank's only part of it. You know, there's a lot of other ways we have to get that fuel to ventilate and fit into the factory system. So we did some other videos in the past, and I had a lot of guys ask about that fuel tank. I always forget about it because it's kind of like one of those things, man. It's just out of the way, out of sight, out of mind type thing, I guess. And we're working on that. So if there's any accessories that you think that we need to add to the H2 platform, let us know. In the meantime, just follow our socials, Instagram, yeah, YouTube, Facebook, all of those. Like we're on there, TikTok, we're on there talking about when we're going to be dropping stuff, especially when they're really close to production. We really start dropping some more information, and if you want to stay ahead of it, that's what you need to follow. Oh yeah, one more thing. Oh, hold on, come over here, camera guy. It's like one of those infomercials where it's like, but wait, there's more. So there is more. It's hard for me to keep track of everything. We're not just an exhaust company. There's so many things that we do, and we're trying to develop all these parts at once. And I hope it doesn't hinder how fast we can build exhaust, because I think that we do stay on top, like the changes. Like our engineers, like when we're off the dyno, we make a change, it's the same day we're making those changes, and we're back to welding it and fitting it in another jig and getting that prototype back on the car. So I don't feel like all the other parts really slow us down a whole lot at all. But anyways, some of the cool things we've been working on are, along with titanium exhaust, we do a lot of titanium hardware as well. This is a very specific bolt. This is not an off-the-shelf bolt. It's not an off-the-shelf washer, but this is an OEM replacement titanium secondary bolt and washer. These are titanium clutch or primary clutch cover bolts, and then the pins inside of your primary, we do have those, they're in titanium and they're also coated as well. We'll do more specific video on just those, but we do have titanium hardware well into the works. It's kind of one of those things where, you know, again, it's like anything. It's not for everybody, but the high performance guys, they're going to really appreciate that, and they want the most out of their machine, and we can give them the most. So very lightweight titanium hardware. So man, until I get ready to say that's it, I think that's everything I can think of for now. It's a long video. I'm gassed. Let's get this car outside, get some photos of it, and we'll do another video of the exhaust. So I'll rip it down the front road over here, and we'll get some sound clips for you guys.
Yeah.